has created the most powerful online platform and library in healthcare today, providing online live pathways, platforms to other health leaders around the world. That's incredible. And it's based on the freedom of speech and inner peace for insightful, inspirational, and innovative creators to share their wellness wisdom, to teach their life enhancing methods, and to finally come together as a brave heart nation. Dr. Wolfe's mission statement is based on creating a brave heart nation. His formula is one love, one law, which translates into unconditional love for all humans. Dr. Wolfe, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to
Oh
be
my
on your show.
goodness. Oh, thank you so much. I'm not even sure where we should start. I have so many questions. Okay, all right. So let's start with a buzzword because our platform, the Quantum Wellbeing Show, is dedicated to raising vibration, to raising frequency, and therefore raising well-being in people, body, mind, spirit, and soul. So tell us, what really is frequency and how does it impact our life?
I will, but wouldn't it be amazing if we weren't doing it because it was the next novel thing or was the next wake up thing? What if we were that? What if we were the program of never thinking about raising our frequency on a subconscious, unconscious level? We just did it. Well, that's not going to happen. That's never going to happen on this planet. Because you're going to have to demand it. You got to demand it. You got to demand high vibrational food. You got to demand to be around high vibrational people. You got to demand high vibration. First of all, you have to be worthy. If you don't feel you're worthy, if you don't feel you deserve it, you're never going to have it. But understand, whether we're talking about food, drink, people, it's all about vibration. Let's talk about food first. So there isn't four food groups. There's only one. There's only one food group, and that's vibration. That's frequency. So when you look at a food, do you ask yourself, what is the frequency in the food? What are the key frequencies? And how much light is stored in there? First of all, most people can't wrap their head around it that the physical is in 1% of 1% of 1% of what we are. We come as spirit beings, light, energy, electrical, magnetic beings, okay? And the invisible creates the physical, the psychological rules the biological. And the reality is, whether you're creating health, wealth, or disease, it all depends on your belief systems, which create frequencies. Because if you really want to know about frequency, you'd have to look at it this way. The greatest gift that we have ever been granted is imagination. That's God's greatest gift. And guess what? If you're not in control of your imagination and you've given it away to a corporation or to a system or some belief system, guess what? They're going to feed off of you. And what happens is they're going to control your imagination. Remember when you were younger, everything was about imagination. That was the most beautiful time of your life. If we could reclaim our imagination, then we would reclaim our purpose, our passion, and we would quit our jobs and we'd go find what the authentic self looks like, and then we would gift the world with it because we're all here for a purpose. But the reality is we see everything in an image. Right now, there's people that are watching your show, and everybody feels differently about it because it all depends. Does it match their beliefs or it doesn't match their beliefs? If it's too new, their subconscious will push back. If they connect to the breath, have a slight smile on their face, they'll be able to accept things differently. Why? Because the breath gives you a higher vibration. Your smiling gives you a higher vibration, so you allow higher vibrational things in. Cross your arms and then just get a little bit of a frown, and now you're going to go down and you won't allow high vibrational things. So image is everything. We see everything in an image first, okay? And then we create a thought. And after we create the thought, it creates the emotion. And if the image wasn't pleasant or negative, then guess what? The thought's negative and the emotion will be negative, and that's energy in motion. So now our movement is heading towards negative. So the reality is that if you've got emotions that are negative, then you're going to have a frequency that's a negative, and you're going to trigger low vibrating chemicals and hormones. And that's called fear, fright, flight, call it what you want. And then that'll overheat the brain because there's no such thing as depression, just anxiety. And then guess what? Your brain has to shut down because you put the wrong frequency in it and you overfired it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Or overfired it and then moved into what, paralysis, right? Isn't that what comes after you've been so stimulated because you're scared or having anxiety that you just freeze?
Well, you freeze, but the reality is this, is the brain is only a computer. The brain is only smart if there's smart beliefs. It's stupid if you've got stupid beliefs.
Mhm.
It's sick if you've got sick beliefs.
Yes.
Okay, so you're sick if it's got sick beliefs. You're rich if you've got rich beliefs. You're poor if you've got poverty thinking. So the brain only plays programs. It doesn't do anything else. It's just two things. The brain is a computer, and the brain is also a chemist. Depending on the image will depend on whether or not you're going to dump histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol, or you're going to dump dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody thinks that it can be like somebody said, oh my God, Einstein had the biggest brain of anyone. Meanwhile, the brain has got nothing to do with whether you're a genius or not. It's the belief systems you run, and do you actually believe in yourself?
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Wolf, it's so challenging for a lot of people. I mean, it took me many years to finally discover my worth and realize that I was pouring into so many people and so many beliefs, and nobody was really pouring back into me. And I decided that I had to take charge of me, my health, my well being, and loving myself, which is what your program is very much about. But
Well,
Mhm.
people aren't capable of giving you what you want. They never have.
Exactly.
You know, that's the whole deal. Look, we could get right into it, but I don't know. This is probably not the direction you want to go. But the world is being controlled. The same people that we call the psychos out there that are controlling everything right now. That's been going on for thousands of years. If
Yeah.
you can teach people that they're unworthy to love, and if you can teach people not to fill up their own heart and look for love from everyone else, it's always going to be temporary. So we're never ever going to be holding a high vibration long enough and strong enough to create a pattern of any type of success, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, mental. It doesn't matter. So the
Yeah.
reality is the whole thing's messed up. You'd have to look at the whole psychology of the brain and understand that the brain is 90% only subconscious, which is just a big storage shed. And whatever you shove in there longer and stronger than anything else just becomes the belief. You know, when somebody hates themselves, it's not because they're a bad person. They've just had that force fed to them.
Yes.
There's people that are from families that can't do anything, but they can make money because they have the belief they can. There's people from families that have great health, but they don't know how to make money. There's people that don't have great health and can't make money because they're at families that believe they can't. So
Exactly.
everything is a program. It's just, and everything's repetition. And if we could just dumb it down, that whatever you want to become, all you have to do is repeat it, because that part of the our body, being the subconscious, is just a robot anyways. And you perform 95 to 98% of your day from the subconscious. So it better be great beliefs that honor, love, and respect you, or it's going to be a really bumpy road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what I've noticed as a coach, Dr. Wolf, that it's usually some kind of a crisis that brings people to the threshold of beginning to look at, wow, I think this isn't working, whether it's their
You mean
health,
desperation?
right?
Desperation.
Yes,
Desperation.
their marriage, their money, their job, it falls
Yeah.
apart. Like, what is going on? Why is this not working for me?
Well, why do
How
we always take things to an emergency point of view? And why do we only think about our health when we're dying? Okay, because you've been programmed that, guess what, you're too stupid to look after yourself. And guess what, we've got medical doctors, and medical doctors know nothing about health, but that's how we can program the subconscious to actually have someone believe that a medical doctor is even going to create any health for them until it's almost too late.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
everything's programming. It's just programming.
But more and more people are looking, more and more people are seeking, because so many people now are very disillusioned, dismayed, and
Oh
or
no, more and more people
damaged.
are getting sick. More and
Yes.
more people are dying. And
Yes.
that's why people are waking up. Too bad they weren't waking up because they were logical. Too bad they weren't waking up because they were actually loving, respecting, and caring for themselves. If I could get everyone to do one thing, love, honor, and respect themselves before anyone else or anything else, okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If I could get them to do that, we wouldn't have any trouble with anything. But we have all been conditioned that we're little sinners, we're little failures, we don't deserve. You know what? Look at how much we judge ourselves and others. If we never judged anyone and we just observed and we said, when you go out to the restaurant, you go, oh my God, I hate Brussels sprouts, and then I can't stop thinking about them. So the reality is that's how people live. People will find something to hate, they get fixated on it, and then they wonder why life has gone by. They wonder why they're in pain. They wonder why they're drained.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not good for our health. It's not good. But people are seeking, and it's not intuitive right now because of the training, the indoctrination, for them to love themselves completely. I mean, it's a process, and it's a learning process. Where do we begin? Where, for somebody who's just waking up, what do you say to them?
To your breath. Breathe through your nose, 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out. Put a slight smile on your face and see if you can hold it there all day, and tell me if it helped you to not have a reaction, to not attack, but to stay more connected to yourself and more grounded. Get yourself, like, these are called love bands, but just if you don't want to go and order a love band, life band from us that you can snap, because that's a kiss and it's as snug as a hug. Get yourself a hair band, get yourself an elastic band, put it around your wrist. And every time that you have a thought that isn't totally unconditionally loving you, just give it a nice little click. That's you kissing yourself and snapping back to the present moment and say, I got this. I love me. That's the old me. I approve of me. There's a new sheriff in town. And the reason why, or you can do this and go, 3, 2, 1, I got this. And that's the main one, because if you count backwards, your subconscious can't play out its BS program, that dysfunctional belief system program that makes you get depressed or hurt yourself for an hour, a day, a month. Look at how some people have actually imprisoned themselves for the rest of their life because they believe that they did something or they sinned bad enough that they should be punished, or they punish someone in their family that they love because they've been taught that that's what you should get if you do this. And the
Yes.
crazy thing is, depending on what family you go to, the punishment will be completely different. We are so full of BS, okay? We don't know up from down, in from out. But if we were to just put a slight smile on, shoulders back, chin up, and then, just 3, 2, 1, I got this, right? I'm telling you right now, if we minded our own business, unless you're going to mind your own business on this planet, okay, then you are going to be in big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for people who are watching, those bands are lovely. I have several of them. They're really soft and they fit your wrist nicely. And when you snap them, they certainly don't hurt. They're absolutely lovely. And they come in different
No,
colors.
the hurting's over.
Exactly.
The reality is people go, I have 1 second. They say, one sec. They say, okay, bear with me.
Sure, take your time.
Okay. Yeah. So what happens is is that what were you saying? Let's go back to it. I lost my train of thought. Apologies.
That's okay. We were talking about the band, and how it feels lovely and how that changes. It brings us back to it brings us to where we want to be, right? We want to connect with our breath. We want to stay happy. And that shows us how many times we're out of alignment with that.
Yeah, and the other thing too is guess what? Did you know that you cannot have a different thought unless you're in the present moment. You cannot heal unless you're in the present moment. Now, how many people do you know that have an illness are even in the present moment ever?
No,
you know, that you would really have to know how to practice loving and caring for yourself and how to be there. And that's why most people will never get well. And they won't, or it will be such a long and hard struggle, like you said, when they're down on their knees and they're begging God, please, and the reality is all you had to do is love and care for yourself. But guess what? You were taught that was selfish.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Overfired it and then moved into. So in addition to your bands, Dr. Wolfe, and this is how I began to discover everything that you do. You have incredible products. I mean, just incredible supplements, and I don't know if you call them nutraceuticals. I don't know what's the
Well, we
word
call
for
them nutraceuticals because I wouldn't want to call them supplements because, again, you're back to vibration.
Gotcha.
We need to find the highest vibration in anything we drink or eat, or the people we hang around with, or what we watch, or the words that come out of our mouth, or the belief systems that we'll allow come into our mind.
Yes, yes. Well, do you find what comes first? Can you get to the belief system from beginning to take care of your body? Can that like open the threshold for the belief system, or does it start in the belief first, then the body? Or can you do both?
Okay. Well, first of all, let's put it this way. I believe the fastest way to get someone first, it's called trust. Okay. All right. So the reality is that the majority of the population have been taught not to trust people in the natural health business, but to trust medical doctors, no matter how ridiculous it sounds.
Right.
Tell me it's not programming. I'm not against the medical system. So let's understand. I want to tell you, you can program anyone. Lori, can you see if that's plugged in, please? It's in there, actually. Anyways, so the reality is,
How to begin, how to get there. Do you start?
how to begin? I'll tell you something. Do you know how you begin? You help somebody have a really great bowel movement. Because I'll tell you something, on the physical plane, there's nothing better than a great bowel movement. You have a really great bowel movement in the morning or have a couple of them, it really makes your day. And understand something and you know why? Because the large intestine is actually, when they say gut brain connection, it's not your whole gut, it's just your large intestine. Because 85% of your immune system is in your large intestine. Your bacteria are 85% of your immune system.
Yes.
And understand this, it's the gut brain connection. And now what happens is everybody gets a gut brain disconnection. Listen, eat bad foods, you'll have bad moods, and you're going to have, when you have bad foods, you're going to get bad bacteria. Now, does anybody know why? The large intestine is not a sewer dump, it's a compost that makes good bacteria, and it's 85% of your immune system. You've got 70 trillion cells, you've got 700 trillion bacteria. Now, believe it or not, only 1 out of 100 people have 85% good bacteria and 15% bad. It's actually the opposite today.
Wow.
The opposite. Well, come on, go take a look. Like 99 out of 100 people have symptoms. I mean, we know that. I mean, right now, 86 to 92% of the population, but it varies in different states in the United States, have an autoimmune disease. That's 86 to 92%. You have to understand that 84% of the population in the United States is overweight, and 40 to 60%, depending on the state you go into, is obese. And the reality is, I'm not picking on them. I'm telling you that people are overweight because they have to make fat cells to store all the inflammation and infection that they're taking in on an emotional and physical level, or they'd be dead already.
Wow, that's huge. But my question is, how many people in America are constipated? I mean, it's endemic, right? I mean, it's
Everyone,
frightening.
everyone, because people are unwilling to let go. And the thing is if you're not willing to let go of that which no longer serves you, and understand this, you've got to let go on an emotional level before you can let go on a physical level. But if you can let go on a physical level, you know, let's put it this way. I'm going to tell you, we use what's called daily cleansing tea. It's not a stimulant, not a
It's so
laxative. You can
good.
take it morning and night. You should take it for life. Everyone should do it. It'll cost about a medium size of a cup of coffee. But guess what? You'll be toned. You'll
It's
stay
so
thin.
good.
You'll lose weight. You'll have energy. You won't be bloated. You won't be going for low back surgery or hip surgery. You won't be
Exactly.
getting cysts on your ovaries or infertility or bladder infections or endometriosis, because it's all about pooping in your pelvis. You know what
Exactly.
people don't get, because people aren't logical, is that none of these things would occur. Do you know, before people were pooping in their pelvis, because guess what?
That's where
You're
it goes.
you've been around long enough to know that I'm right, that 40 years ago, we didn't have mega bag of chips. We didn't
Right.
have all the drive-throughs. We didn't have all the garbage foods. We didn't have the chemtrails. We didn't have all the heavy metals and all the chemicals being put into all the foods. Okay. We weren't programmed as much. Okay. So understand this. And they've learned to really turn up the heat. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So people don't get it, but life, okay, just 120 years ago to now, remember something, everyone. You may not know this, but medical doctors did not come around until about 120 years ago. That's when medical doctors came around. 120 years ago. There was no AMA, there wasn't anyone like that. So, and they were going bankrupt back then. So
Wow.
understand this, what we consider normal today is actually abnormal. And when I say to people that you're constipated, people say, no, I go to the bathroom. It's not what comes out, it's what stays in. Now, I
Exactly.
want to ask you a question. Why is it, and is this the truth or not the truth? Why is it that 60% of the population, okay, looks like they're 3 months to 12 months pregnant, whether they're a man or a woman? Well,
True.
that's the large intestine, okay, rotting out. They have their own personal manure pile, okay, and leaky gut is caused because of drill bit predators of fungus, and it's in your large intestine, and you're filling up your pelvis girdle, which is the bowl, pelvic
Yes.
bowl, with
Yeah.
infection. And that's why all the hip surgery, the knee surgery, the low back surgery, and that's why all the cesareans. Why are 60% of the women getting cesareans? You know what? When I was younger and we had children, and we just had children, there was none of this. You never even heard of it. Now
Yeah.
women eat so much garbage. Well, so do men, but you cannot. This is a temple. And when you don't eat right, okay, you get infected. When you get infected, you get inflamed and you get toxic. And understand, hardly any women look after themselves or know how to look after themselves,
Yes.
right? We're
Yes.
coming out with a course, and we'll have it out in about 2 months, and it's called the Pain-Free Pregnancy. There's nothing
Mm,
ever been written like it before. And it
wonderful.
takes a couple a year before they're going to get pregnant, and how to love themselves, care for themselves and each other, how to eat right, think right, drink right, and get
Mm,
prepared for the baby. But you can come and take the course, and we teach them how to the partner how to do the non-surgical. So her knees, her hips, her abdomen, her low back, and every part of her body is never going to be in pain, because he's going to go in there and do non-surgical with his elbow, removing all the scar tissue to keep her so flexible, and even doing non-surgical on her abdomen so it doesn't get tight. And then
yes.
also we teach them how to food combine, how to make sure that the digestive tract is working completely 100% during
Mm,
this whole process.
that's
So
so
understand that doctors know nothing about health. They can't keep an eye on it for you, even though they say they're going to. And understand that if parents don't become their own practitioners, they're in trouble. If the victim doesn't become the hero, they're in trouble. and that's it.
Yes. Yes, that's one. I love what you're doing with that. And just for people who are watching, I've watched several of your when you were in Canada and the families would come and spend time with
Yes.
you. And I've got to tell everybody that's listening, you're very powerful and, out there the way that you speak, but I've seen you work with these families and I see you so gentle, and these children trust you and the parents trust you. And the work that you do with them is just phenomenal, Dr. Wolfe, just amazing. The foundation that you tell me.
We all missed it. We missed it. There's no difference between any of us. We all have the same creator. We're all going to go back there someday. We're all the same spirit energy. There is no different religions for me. There's no different languages for me. There's no different colors for me. Okay. And the reality is, what a beautiful spice of life down here. The variety is so much and it's so beautiful. And you got to understand something. I could never go back to just being a human being, whatever that is. The reality is everybody out there deserves unconditional love. And the reality is love is just an ingredient. And on planet Earth, it's a toxic, miserable one that everybody uses it for ransom. Okay, I'm not really into that. The reality is that it's called unconditional love. To observe something and say, well, I don't really like that is fine, but why would you hate it? And why would you hate me? You don't even know me. Why would I hate her? Why would I hate him? Why would I hate their food? Why would I hate their religion? What is wrong with me? What are wrong with humans? You know what? We go to battle with ourselves. We go to battle with our families. There's more misery and suffering in homes than anywhere. So let's just get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's understand that. Okay. We can complain all day long about the government, the medical system, and all these systems. But what have we done to show unconditional love for ourselves first and foremost, so that we can actually, if you're not going to practice it on yourself and repeat it enough until you perfect it, you're never going to give it to anybody else.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So, will you tell us about your what you're doing in the new facility that is coming up, and the incredible education that you're going to be offering?
Okay, I work with a statesman right now out of Puerto Rico, and there's very few people that have the power that he has. And then with the power that he does have, he doesn't wield it like an axe. He wields it with his heart. And so our organization and with our courses, we've been granted to be able to put a program together, and we have, that a person could come and take, like our New World Practitioner course, which is 22 days, and that's the beginning of it. And then we certify them. And then we are covered under the World Organization of Natural Medicine and a few other organizations around the world. And from that point on, that person can take the next 3 to 4 years if they really want to work hard at this, okay, and put their heart into it, and they can get their Doctorate of Natural Medicine and Indigenous Medicine. But we never stop there. You want to understand, I need you to understand something. Everything is a lie. Mm-hmm. Everything is a lie out there, and not a lie that you're a liar and let's get angry. It's
Right.
just that, everything is not what everybody thinks it is, because guess what? This is a slave planet in all points, and people don't get that. Think about 150,000 of them hogtied 8 billion for 3 years, and they're going to do it again starting this fall. So, and then this fall we'll be going into maybe Sears. Look it up, SEERS, and we'll be going into climate change. Okay. And I'm going to be having somebody come on special tomorrow. We're going to be talking about life cycles. Cycles. Everything's about cycles.
Yes.
Everything is about cycles. And if you follow cycles all the way back, even thousands of years, you'll see that everything is about cycles.
Yes.
And the reality is that we don't understand really going on. And so the best thing to do is mind our own business and get healthy and wealthy and wise. And that's the reality. So what I did was I always known this, and that, for one thing, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but
Right.
we know that it doesn't matter how much taxes we pay, nothing gets done, and there's only going to be more. So the reality is we also are opening up our own bank. We also, because I want to protect my clients and my practitioners' money, and it's going to be a credit union. And the other thing is that we're able to actually, there's only 8 people in North America able to do this. We have somebody who's doing this for us, where, you can pay $5,000 and get yourself a corporation and never pay more than 4% tax again. And it's legal. And it's a loophole in the United States. It's a legal one, and people don't know how to do it. And I know people that could do it. They pay like $30,000. Our group, they pay very minimal fee because it's all about creating a BraveHeart Nation. So just think, if you can actually help people on a financial level, emotional level, a physical level, a nutritional level, and then put a program together like that, you can call that a doctorate any day. Because a doctor is a teacher, and people will say to me, well, Dr. Wolfe, yeah, you're not a real doctor. Well, no, I'm not a real medical doctor, and I would never want to be a real medical doctor. And medical doctors are not doctors; they're physicians and surgeons. And actually, I am a doctor. So the reality is to think that the majority of the population is ever going to think like the minority, like, it's not going to happen. Like, the people that come to take my courses and trainings aren't the majority. They're the 1% of the 1%, and I get that. But we don't need a high percentage of people to change the world, okay? Because remember something, if you're depressed and you're not minding your own business, you're not getting a lot done. But if you are minding your own business and living your passion and your dreams, and you never will humble yourself down in front of any human being here, and you're not going to bend the rules, you're not going to break the rules, you're just not going to follow them, you're going to make your own. And there's only one rule. If you have unconditional love for yourself and everyone else, how many rules would you break?
None.
No, there isn't, because there's only one law in the universe, and that is unconditional love. It's not love.
Right.
Right.
Right. I love it. So, we have just a short time left. It's a quick show. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Many people feel that they have been, rightfully so, harmed. Their body has been harmed by some of the things that they got injected into their body. For the people that maybe only got one and didn't have big things happen, what can they do to begin to make themselves well?
Well, they could have gotten the 1, the 2, and the boost, and they can still do a ton of things. You can still eliminate the symptoms. The problem is when we get fixated on the problem, we never have the solution.
Right.
That's the way it always works. And if people did the research, they would understand that, well, for us anyways, I will tell you that right now we're supporting hundreds of these people, hundreds of them. And the reality is that people can look at this, and this is not a pitch, but we use a product called Black Diamond, Black Gold, and C60. C60 MCT oil, C60 hemp oil, and also daily cleansing tea. And remember something, drinking lots of warm or to hot structured water, and everything is vibration. Does everybody understand that the more acidic you get, the more these things grow and explode inside of you? Does everybody understand that they work on certain frequencies? And did you notice something with your phones that you don't have, we used to have really good reception when we had 4G. Now 5G, we don't have our reception so good because they have to put a 5G on every corner to make it work, because it does not travel far. And as soon as it hits a tree or a post, it's dead. And that's why we have bad reception. Now, as soon as they get those 5Gs on every corner, it's going to light these people up, unless they get, okay, the receivers out. Now, people should do research on MCT oil C60 and hemp oil C60. this product is 250 to 300% stronger than vitamin C.
Wow.
It is the strongest antioxidant. It has the highest vibration. Okay. And guess what? Okay. And guess what it's made out of?
What?
Carbon, graphene. So, but understand something. So now you've got the other thing being made out of similar.
Right.
Guess what? What happens if you bring in the most powerful, positive, highest vibration, and it's the opposite of the other? Help me out. Neutralize.
Right.
Right. And then black diamond and black gold, they will actually grab this and they actually will lock it down into the molecule.
Wow.
I tell everyone everything. You know what? You know, that's 6 weeks to 3 months, you will be symptom free. If you follow the perfect day diet and you eat higher vibrational foods, if you learn to connect to your breath, if you do the BraveHeart Love Band work, because listen to me, okay, it's all frequency. If you do the mirror work where you do the BraveHeart oath and you learn to look in your eyes and find out when you look deep into your eyes that you're going to find the love of your life. And when you find the love of your life, let's protect the love of your life. And then don't tell me that we're not bigger than the V, because we are. End of story. So there's going to be a lot of people and a lot of scientists and a lot of doctors saying, if you got the 1, you're done. If you got the 2, you're screwed. If you got the 3, you're out of here. I'm going to tell you something. We cannot see around every corner. And I'm going to tell you that I've had people that have went and did more than 3 because they were so paranoid. And these people felt like they were dying. And guess what? They're not anymore. So the reality is the mind is very powerful. So let's stop it from being a lion mind so you don't blow up. But let's do everything high vibrational. And the biggest thing is that we are spirit beings. You feed the spirit, you heal the body. You feed this. And I'm going to tell you something. How many times has somebody said, da 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 da, and that's the way it's going to be, and then it's not? Okay. How many times did we think we were finished? Okay. And just before the movie was over, the hero walks out of the bush and saves the day. So understand, everybody, the scientists are only as good as the science is today, because tomorrow it will change. And there's a lot of scientists that say that the people that have done this, you have given yourself a death sentence. And I will tell you, it's not true. We've been working on people with a device called Cellsonic. We've been working on with people with a device called the Cardio Med Bed and creating the perfect day for them and doing these nutraceuticals. And it's not true. It's not true. Remember something. Even the inflamed heart. Remember something. It's an inflamed heart. And that means it's on fire. And understand, you just got to know how to fire out. Okay, that's all. If you've got a 20-foot hole, build a 20-foot ladder. Don't build a 5-foot ladder and think if you climb it 4 times, you're going to get out.
Right.
Okay.
Right. One quick question before we go. Can lungs be regenerated?
Okay. Can I tell you a story? And guess what?
Please.
I get in trouble all the time because my stories are ridiculous, but they can all be proven. So just so you know, and I'm in the last 3 weeks, if anybody wants to challenge me, I'll get the names, I'll get the practitioners, and we'll even get the x-rays. So we've got a lady in Stuart, Florida. We've got another gentleman in Montreal, Canada. Okay, both of these people are over 70. They both have stage 4 cancer. Okay, they came to the 2 practitioners that I taught. Okay, that came to become New World practitioners, and this is just in the last 3 weeks. They went and got their X-rays. They have no cancer. So guess what? They went and nebulized our infinite iodine. It's the only pure iodine. They did Cellsonic. They did non-surgical. They got on the perfect day diet. But understand, nebulizing. Okay, our infinite iodine, when it goes into a gas and you breathe that in, you can breathe in as much as you want. You couldn't do Nacean iodine or Lugol's iodine because you'd blow your thyroid out. We've got stage 4 patients that are drinking 1.5 ounces a day of our iodine. because there's no toxic effect to it. But nebulizing it is the most amazing thing. So if somebody has a lung problem, you're going to get them to nebulize today. I'm going to get them to do this. I'm going to get them to nebulize 1 part infinite iodine, 3 parts distilled structured water, and they're going to nebulize that like they're addicted to it. Now they're going to go and they're going to start coughing and they're going to take a break. Then once it calms down, then they're going to do it again. Then they're going to, once they start to cough, they're going to take a break. They're not going to push it too hard. So that I'll do that today. And then tomorrow, I'll take Bright Eyes nano fulvic drops. We're the only people in the world that have created fulvic eye drops that you can actually put in a nebulizer. And when you nebulize it, okay, infinite iodine kill, first of all, the first one, the infinite iodine will kill viral infection and any type of infection in the lungs in 15 seconds. So now if we keep bringing it in, we're going to create a pattern. And as long as we keep bringing it in, it'll give enough energy, enough frequency, and enough time for those tissue cells to heal, yes or no? And the mucus that is being created in the lungs is created from the infection, creating inflammation, and then creating mucus. And that fills up the alveoli, so then you're drowned in your own sputum. Now we can stop that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the infinite iodine today. Tomorrow, we're going to do what we call Bright Eyes nanofulvic drops, which is a nano. And guess what it does? It brings in 70 micronutrients into your lungs. Wow. Okay. And guess what? It drops that off and then it loads itself up with 300% and 400% of its weight in heavy metals. And it'll also take up microbes like worms or eggs, okay, and neutralize those. All right. Yeah. And we'll also, if you want, you can mix silver bullet liquid, which is an antibiotic, natural antibiotic, with the fulvic nano drops, 50-50. And now we're going to vaporize and we're going to nebulize that tomorrow. The next day, we'll go back to the iodine. Next day, we'll go back to 50% Bright Eyes and 50% the silver. And that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to get a clapper. We sell these clappers.
I have one.
Yeah, and you're going to clap your lung area for what? 10 to 20 minutes every day. It might go black, it might go purple, and that's all the infection coming to the surface. Because guess what? Healthy people don't bruise. Unhealthy people will bruise even if they don't bang into themselves. People that are dying, they bruise without even touching anything, right? Because they're spoiled rotten because they were pooping in their pelvis. Remember that one? Okay. Yeah. So now, if you're around someone that knows non-surgical, we're going to go in with our elbows and we're going to open up the intercostal muscles here. And then we're going to go into the back area and we're going to open up the ribs back there as well. Oh, we're going to increase, when we do that one time, we're going to increase your breathing from 25 to 70%. I'm telling you the God's truth. I've got all kinds of testimonials. People go on my YouTube and take a look. I'm not making this up.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And now if they're around our clinic, we will sell sonic them. And that's a 25,000 volt device that's in a field. And that will shut down stage 4 inflammation. That will decalcify the mitochondria. So it'll spin 2,500 times again. Because what happens is when the cells get damaged, they can't make ATP. ATP is the energy that makes everything work. And that ATP will then be delivered to the sodium potassium pump that's on every cell and put into the interstitial fluid, the extrastitial, outside the cell. When it hits the water, guess what? It creates a lightning bolt and then creates a new cell. So we need to get the mitochondria repaired right away so that they can make the ATP to create the lightning bolt, to create the new cells. When a cell stays damaged for too long, okay, what happens? It doesn't make energy. And if it doesn't make energy, it can't get the oxygen. So if it can't do that, then it turns into a immortal cell, which is called a cancer cell. So we need to get in there and decalcify and get that ATP made right away.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And this is what's going to happen in Puerto Rico? Or where
well, let's put it this way. They really want us. We're going over there for talks with top officials in Puerto Rico to the point that they are offering us a building and land. And they want us there. So we'll know in about 2.5 weeks. And but if that doesn't happen, we still have our university through them. We still have our bank through them. We still have our corporations that we can still provide. We've worked all this out with the Puerto Rican government. You have to understand something. Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but they pay no federal tax. So, the reality is a lot of people, they go offshore. You don't have to go offshore, and you don't have to do anything illegal. Why not just stay illegal? Stay legal, and do the same things that these people that are trying to terrorize the world right now. Let's just do what they do. Okay,
Right.
we figured it out. We figured
Right.
it out.
That's
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, how can people begin to get these therapies right now? If they're like, my God, I want to inhale this, all of these amazing things, and have the Wolf non-surgical. How can they access that?
Well, the best way they can access our information, and I want people to really consider this, is to get a perfect day consult. It's $150. What is They get 6 weeks support with that consultant, as much as they want to call them, but they get lifetime support with us. Like if that person were to leave, that was their coach, but most of them, they will still give them lifetime support with all their calls. They'll also get a 400-page guide that will tell them everything they need to do, from vaginal infusions. I bet you didn't know that if a woman puts her nutraceuticals in the vaginal canal, she gets 1,000% faster healing and 1,000% more nutrition into even her brain than if she took it in her mouth. I bet you didn't know that you can get rid of all tumors, all cysts, endometriosis, pelvic inflammation, low back problems, bladder problems, infertility by doing a vaginal infusion.
Wow.
Okay, so, and we have women that are in such trouble because guess what? Whether we like it or not, women, your pelvic girdle, most of you, it's rotting out. That's why it smells. That's why it's dry. That's why it's burning. That's why you don't have your period. That's why there's too many blood clots coming. That's why you've got cysts on your ovaries. That's why you've got a thickening of your uterus. That's why your vagina is dry. That's why I could keep going. The reality is it would never happen if you didn't poop in your pelvis, but guess what? You can restore the vaginal canal by doing vaginal infusions, and women will do this every day or even twice a day. And I'm going to tell you, you can give me a woman that says, I've got a yeast infection that's driving me crazy. I just want to kill myself. And guess what? We can get her to do 2 vaginal infusions. And if she follows our guidelines, she wakes up tomorrow with nothing. 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 So understand this. We go right to the source. And remember something, as well as I do. Where do you think the root chakra is? It's the pelvis for the woman. It's everything. It's the holy grail of everything. Go down there and start there and root in and watch how that'll just spread healing throughout the body. And then we do everything different. We don't do a water fast. We do an advanced water fast, because today, if you did a water fast, you'll blow yourself apart. If you use nutraceuticals that won't turn on will bypass the Krebs cycle and not turn on your digestive tract, you can go through that and with energy and never have a healing crisis, and do a 6-day or a 12-day water fast, advanced water fast, with no trouble. Or how about this? You can't clean the liver unless you're going to do a coffee enema, but we don't do a coffee enema because most people have what now today? Leaky gut, which means they have holes in their large intestine created from the antibiotics that turn the yeast into a drill bit predator. And that's why we have leaky gut, right?
Yes.
So the reality is you can't do a coffee enema to purge anymore, because that'll all go back into your bloodstream. So we use the black diamond or the black gold and tummy love, and we suck up all the waste that the liver dumps into the colon, so we don't reabsorb it back into the body. So you know what? Hack it all. Hack everything in your life. Say, here it is. What can I do better? And remember something, when they tell you it's as good as it can get, they're either lying to you or they've been trained that, because it's never as good as it can get.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Wolfe. It was so great having you. I hope you'll come back in the not too distant future, and maybe we can talk about more of your therapies. I'm so intrigued, and I'm so uplifted, because there's hope. There's hope for so many people. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I say this? If anybody wants, they can go to BraveHeartNation.com and they can check out all our trainings and all our schoolings. And if they go to docofdetox.com, they can jump into my library. It's the biggest self-help, self-love library. We've got tons of master classes there to help change your life, and it's free.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wolfe. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again next Friday. Take care and love yourself.
Thank you.
Bye, Dr.
Thank you.
Wolfe. Thank you.
Bye now.
Promo? What do you mean? Sure. Will you do that, Dr. Wolfe?
I'll do anything.
Recording in progress.
We'll be on the Nori Love show, and please make sure that you watch this show, because understand one thing: it's about unconditional love. That's the only thing that's going to create the freedom and the inner peace that we're all searching for. One love, one law, okay, where we all live together in harmony. It's not make believe.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Wolfe. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch soon.
Recording
Thank you.
stopped.
Thank you. I hope that was okay.
That was great. That was great. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one, guys.
Bye-bye.
Now.
Bye. Good night.
Good night now.
Good night.